We beat that up enough. Let's move on. Now I'm going to show you how does a conventional bank work. This is how your bank works. Whoever you do business with, whichever bank that you deal with, this is how it works. The thing that you do is you put your money into the bank, okay? Now, on this example, I'm going to say that you put in $100,000 into your conventional bank, your checking or your savings account, and your bank is going to pay you 4% interest on your money. I know they're not, but I'm just going to say that you found a really good bank. Now, don't get hung up on the 100,000. It could be $1, it could be $1,000,000. The number is not important. What's important is this word your. This is your money. So now every time you put money into the bank, that money now becomes a liability to the bank, right? Because they owe you interest. They have to pay you interest when you put the money into the bank. So how does the bank take your money and turn it into an asset? Loans. They loan it out to people. They loan it to you and to other people. So loans are assets to banks. Now, whenever we think of the word loan, guess what we think of? We think of a payment, a debt, an expense, a liability. We have to start thinking the way that the bank thinks. A loan is an asset. So here's what you do. The thing that you do is you put your money into the bank. Now, who on this call has ever went to the bank to borrow money to buy a house? I have. Probably a lot of you have. So here's what you do. After you put your money into the bank, you go back to that bank and you say, Mr. Banker, I want to buy a house. And now you borrow that money from the bank at 7% interest. Now, don't get hung up with these numbers. I want you to get the concept and you'll see where I'm going. So the thing you did is you put your money into the bank's going to pay you 4, and then they're going to loan it back to you or somebody else at 7, right? So the bank made 7 and you made 4, didn't they? So they made more than you. Because when you put that money in, so like when you borrow money from the bank, you have to pay them back with interest, do you not? Absolutely you do, or they'll foreclose on the house. So who's in control of that transaction? The bank. Okay. How about a car? Have you guys ever went out and borrowed money to buy a car from a bank? Let's call that 8% interest. Well, if you borrow money from a car to buy a bank, you got to pay them back, don't you? So who's in control? The banks. So are you starting to see here how all banks do is they move money in, move it out, move it in, move it out, move it in, move it out. That's why that $20 bill that I had my initials on that I highlighted was not there when I went back in an hour to get it, because it's in motion. They're constantly moving it. How about a house remodel? Maybe you want to do new granite countertops, a swimming pool, a patio, a deck. Okay, maybe you go get a HELOC loan. Let's just call it 9%. Well, if you borrow the money from the bank, you got to pay them back with interest, don't you? So the bank's still in control. How about a debt consolidation loan? We're going to pay off all the credit cards, call it 12%. That money has to go back into the banking system. Look, who's in control of every one of these transactions? Yes, the bank. Now, I know math is not everybody's favorite subject, but let's do a little math here. And I promise I'm going to make it easy. What we're going to do is we're going to look and see how well you did compared to how well the bank did. Remember, I said you found a really good bank, and that bank's going to pay you 4% interest on your money. Now, so the bank is going to make the interest on the house at 7%, and you made 4. So if the bank made 7 and you made 4, how much more do they make than you? 3%. Let's look at the car. The car is 8. You made 4. 8 minus 4 is 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. And 12 minus 4 is 8. So the bank made 20% and you made 4%. The bank made 20 and you made 4. How much more did the bank make than you? You guys are thinking 16%, right? 20 minus 4 is 16%. Close. What about 500% more than you? Look, guys, banks are making between 400 and 1,300% annually on the money that you leave there each and every year. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Brent, I hear you moving your lips and flapping your gums, but how do I really know that's true? Here's what you can do. You can go out and look at any bank that you want and pull up a report. It's called BauerFinancial.com, B-A-U-E-R, BauerFinancial.com. You can look up any bank that you want, a small little hometown bank, a big bank that we all know the names of, and you can get their annual report. I don't care if you get it from this year, last year, 20 years ago, and you will see on that report that banks make no less than 400% annually on the money that you leave there. Now, I'm going to challenge you to do this exercise. I've been asking people to do it for years, and if you find a bank that makes any less than 400% annually on the money that you leave there, you owe it to me to call me and tell me, and I will change my presentation. Nobody's done it yet, but maybe you'll be the first. If you think about it, guys, it makes sense, does it not? Because look, I don't care what town you live in. You can come to my town, Port Orange, Florida. We can drive to Orlando. We can go anywhere, Chicago, New York, California, Texas, wherever it is. We can get in our car. We can drive down the main section of town, and we get to a stoplight. And there's 4 corners of that stoplight. Tell me what at least one building is that you see on at least one of those corners on almost every major intersection. It's a bank, right? Are the banks on the bad property, rundown location, bad landscaping, bad architecture? No, they're the nicest buildings in town. Who's paying for all of those? We are. Have you guys ever driven down so like a part of town, and all of a sudden you see a new construction building coming up, and you're thinking, oh, I wonder what that's going to be, a new restaurant, a new shop, so again, I can't wait till that's built so I know what it is. You drive by there 2 or 3 weeks later, and it's another bank. Banks are everywhere, are they not? And we are paying for them. So look here in the middle. All I want you to do is to be your own banker in your own life, because you're doing all of this anyway, are you not? You're buying houses. You're buying cars, you're doing house remodels, you're using credit cards. Who's getting all of your money? The banks. The money is leaving your family. You need to be the banker in your own life. Okay, let's move on. Now, here we go. Banks make between 400 and 1,300% on the money you leave there, and there's the resource. Bauer Financial.